It's the end of the week. Let's chat all things books. Hi, I'm Lacey. I love to read, and welcome to my channel. I wanted to do a weekly cozy reading check where you have your favorite drink and we just talk about the books that I've been reading this week, and you can tell me in the comments about what you've been reading. The main reason I wanted to do this is that I have so many things in books that I want to talk about, and I feel like I don't have anyone to talk about them with. And even if I have someone to talk about them with, they might not have read the book, and so I figure odds are someone's read it and maybe you'll stumble upon this video. But I just have a lot to say and a lot to discuss. I've been reading a lot of books this week. So the main ones I've been reading are The 7-Year Slip, and then I'm listening to the audiobook of The Henna Artist, and then I'm rereading You Deserve Each Other, and I'm also reading Loving Romeo on my Kindle, and I feel like there's another one. Loving Romeo, You Deserve Each Other, and The Henna Artist. Yeah, those are the three that I'm reading right now. But before we talk about what I am reading, I have to talk about what I decided to stop reading. I started a reading vlog for Grimstone and Monarch in the very beginning of January, and it's February 2nd, and I'm on page 22. The book is beautiful. I love the cover. I love the pretty edges. Also, look how funny this bookmark is that I got from my coworker. It cracks me up. It's hilarious. It's so cute and it's so funny. But I really was excited to get back into Sophie Lark, and I'm realizing that I feel like I am back with COVID in 2021. I read her entire Brutal Birthright series when I was sick because I had nothing to do, and I just got a Kindle, so I was living my best life. Actually, not my best life. I was kind of sickest that I've been in such a long time, but I was not doing well. But book-wise, I was doing fabulous. I read the entire Brutal Birthright series, and reading Grimstone, it just kind of throws me back into feeling like I'm back there. And her writing is very distinct, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's a great thing, but I don't know. And I was saying this in the reading vlog, I'm not really a dark romance, and I know for some this is probably like laughable that I'm considering it dark romance, but it totally is. Yeah, it's fully a dark romance. Just not my cup of tea. And I do want to come back to it, but I kind of feel disappointed in myself that I didn't do it, especially since I wanted to do a reading vlog on it because I was really excited. But I'm hoping one day I'll go back. But as of right now, it's just not, I'm not feeling it. So that's what I'm feeling about Grimstone. Let me know if you've read it and if I should keep going. But as of right now, I don't really care to keep going, so. But now that we got that out of the way, I'll talk about the book I finished this week, which is The 7-Year Slip. This book was amazing. It kind of gave me Frederick Bachman vibes, like how whimsical he is. And I just had an amazing time reading it. We read it for my book club. I have a hard time talking, but we read it for my book club at work. We all loved it. Almost every person rated it between 4.5 and 5 stars. I rated it 4.75, and I think it's because it felt like the ending was kind of rushed, and maybe that was just me, and when I was reading it, I don't know. I ended up reading it really fast because I was very delayed on our book club, and we knew for over a month what we were going to read, and I for some reason thought that I would be fine to read it in a week, and then the week turned into 3 days, then it turned into 2, and then I had to read the entire thing. So that might have played a part in it, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was so cute. I don't read anything that's magical realism or fantasy or anything like that, so this was like my first entrance into that, other than Hunger Games, but I feel like everyone's read those. So I was kind of not wanting to read it, and so when it was brought up in our book club, I knew that that was the way to get me to read it, and I loved it. It was so good. And here's the thing though, I kind of went into a career crisis after I read this book, because if you have read this book, the main character, I forgot her name, Clementine, and he called her Lemon. It was so cute. Okay, I loved him. And I also loved Clementine. Clementine, my friend, she went through an entire career crisis, and I will not spoil what happened, but she was feeling not the best about her work and her work-life balance. And I had a hard time remembering what it was about. No, wrong. I had a hard time remembering if this thing that I was talking about was in the back. It's not. But she goes through a career crisis, essentially. My career, I have wanted to do what I do since 8th grade. I'm 25. 12 years. 12 years I knew in my mind and in my heart what I wanted to do. I had like a dream. I knew exactly what I wanted to do. And I volunteered for it, and then I went to college and I got my degree and I got anything else I needed, and then I got my job, and it is my 4th year. I feel like I don't like it, and I'm feeling at a crossroads where I want to do something else, but I don't know what I want to do, and I want to work in the same realm, but not necessarily that. And I feel like this book kind of came at the perfect but also the worst time, because she actually did something about it and I feel like I can't. I'm really trying to work through that, but I absolutely went through a little crisis. I told my friends, one of my friends wanted to read it, Rose, my queen, and I was like, well, if you are feeling at all in any type of unease towards your career, maybe don't, or maybe do, maybe it will help you. But for me, it's kind of like thrown me off a little bit. It has really impacted me, but I'd recommend it. I think it's a beautiful book. Okay, and also, I've gotten slightly into audiobooks a little bit. I tried out a romance, didn't like it, tried out a thriller. Okay, and that doesn't mean I didn't like the book. I liked the book, I just didn't like the format. It was too much. I can't handle the scenes in romance books being said out loud, okay? I don't want to hear it. The voice for the boy, I just genuinely, I could not deal with it. It was too much. So I still rated the book a good rating, but then I also kind of hated listening to it. Then I read a thriller, listened to a thriller. It ended up being a romancy thriller. I didn't think it was a good book. I also didn't like the audiobook. It was too much. But I saw a video on TikTok, and she recommended that the audiobook for The Henna Artist was beautiful. And I think I'm like 76% through the audiobook. I love it. I feel like I'm listening to a movie. This book is beautiful, and I kind of want to finish it with like reading it, and maybe reading it and listening to it. But I've been listening to it on the way to work, and I don't even want to get out of my car. But I did just talk about having a career crisis, so I don't really want to get out of my car anyways, but I really don't want to get out of my car now because of this book. So I definitely recommend. I'm not even all the way done, but so far I'm loving the audiobook. But I'm interested to see where it ends, and it's definitely going to be a high rated book, and I'm glad I've read it or listened to it on audio, and I do plan maybe one day to reread it with my eyes, but I'm having a good time. And it's nice. I was always a person who said I could never process what was going on in an audiobook, and I still think I have trouble sometimes because my mind wanders a lot, and then I'll be sitting there and I'm like, what is going on? So I just have to back up, which is not a big deal. But I was always saying, you know, I can't process things auditorily, which I still think I struggle with, but it's actually, I feel like I'm getting a lot out of what's happening. So definitely recommend. And if you think you don't like audiobooks, you might not like them, but you should try them at least once. Oh, I also got, I'm kind of going off. Isn't that the whole point? The whole point of this video is to go off on tangents. So I got the Let Them theory on Libby because my friend was talking about wanting it, and she bought it at the bookstore, and I was I didn't want to buy it because it was $30, and I am broke at the end of the month. So I didn't end up buying it, but then I saw it on Libby, so I borrowed it. And I say I hate self-help books, but I do think I'm in a point in my life that it would probably be helpful. So yeah, I'm gonna try a self-help book. We'll see how it goes. And then you'll hear about it next week, if I even start it, because I do that a lot, where I say that I'm gonna read a book and then I literally can't get myself to read it. So that's a fun thing about me. I have met Beefcake. I started Loving Romeo by Laura Pavlov. Okay, I was very into Loving Romeo at first, and then I did take a slight break, and by the time I got back into it, I was like, is this cringing me out or is it cute? And I feel like I have that problem a lot with romance books. I think it's cute, but if I get taken out of it and then I go back, I'm like, ew, disgusting. Why is he saying that? Why is he like that? So I think it's a me problem, but I'm going to keep reading it and I'm going to see how it goes. I do love, I started the Honey Mountain series, and I loved it so much that I bought every single book with the sprayed edges. So I'm very excited for them to all to come. but I haven't read any more because I want to read them when I get them because they're all coming out like once a month. But yeah, Love You Romeo, I was really into it. And then it kind of reminds me of, and honestly, it probably is heavily inspired by Jake Paul and the way that he basically calls out people, makes them fight him, and he just talks trash forever until they fight him and then talks trash while they're training. Anyways, kind of like annoying to read him outside of real life, but I don't think it's her fault. I really like the book for the most part, and I think I'll continue to like it. I think there was just so many layers to what's going on in that book, and it was just kind of overwhelming because I felt like life was overwhelming. But I'm going to keep reading, and I'll probably finish it next week, and then we can talk about it more. But I'm excited. I was excited, though, because I met Beefcake, and I saw so many things about him, so I'm very excited that I now know who Beefcake is. And he's hilarious, and he's adorable. Last thing for this weekly book chat. I hope you're having a fun time. I know I am, but also I love to talk, so it might be something only I enjoy, but I decided this year that I was going to try to reread one book a month. I basically forgot that goal immediately, and then I almost didn't even start a book to reread, so I started finally my first book to reread this year, and I'm not finishing it. I mean, it's February 2nd and I'm not done. So I'm going to do 2 in February and catch up. But the book I picked first was You Deserve Each Other because I recommend this book to literally everyone. And for some reason, I don't know, I was like, do I really love it that much that I want to tell everyone in the world about it? I swear I specifically remember the feeling I had in the beginning of the last time I read it when I started reading it and I was like, why does everyone love this book so much? It's annoying. Like, it's annoying that they don't like each other. It's annoying how they feel towards each other and how they're acting. And so I'm still kind of in that mode. I'm only 100 pages in. And so like, it's kind of crazy how much deja vu you get. And that might be the silliest thing to say, but I've never reread a book. I watch the same shows all the time, but I've never reread a book. And so, I don't know, it's interesting, but I'm not sure 100% how I feel about rereading books. I'm really excited to reread Circe, though, because when I first read it, I finished and I rated it, I think 4 stars or 4.25. But I think about Circe, goodness gracious. I think about Circe all the time, so I'm very excited. But I'm excited just to brush up, and then if I keep recommending it, at least I'll know that I still really love it. But I wouldn't say that I'm having a bad time. It's just more of I feel the same feelings, and it's kind of throwing me for a loop how much you can feel and remember the same things just from reading the same books. But I don't have a lot of romances on my list to reread this year. It's primarily historical fiction or fiction that I want to reread, and so depending on how this one goes, I might pick another. I kind of want to reread Real by Kennedy Ryan because I read it, I think, the beginning of 2023. I think that will definitely be something on my agenda. But hopefully, actually, I'm setting a goal for myself. I will be done with this by next week so we can discuss. But that's kind of where I'm at with that. And that's everything. I have had kind of a wild week. Kind of a wild month. And so I just was excited to just sit down and chat about books and kind of let it all out, all the things I think about. And I really hope that you like this video. Please feel free to comment things down below about either if you read anything, if you have similar feelings, or if you have opposing feelings that I'm having, what books you're reading right now, any thoughts, honestly, anything. But thank you so much for watching my video and for coming to my channel. I hope you stick around, and I'll see you in the next video.